Hello, you gorgeous weirdos. If you're new here, welcome. If you need to learn how to do dip nails, I got you in this video. This is what we're going to do today. Very beginner friendly, very step by step. If you're new here, if you're not new here, welcome back. I'm going to be using this color from one of the Sassy Mouth collections. Everything I use will be linked down below. I'm going to start off with peel off base coat. This is just what I do as a content creator, so my nails can pop off super quick and easy because I do create content quite often for this channel. Speaking of which, if you are new here, go ahead and subscribe. It's free. I upload twice a week, every week, Mondays and Thursday mornings. Would love to have you as part of the Manny fam. I did clean off my nails with a little bit of alcohol. Of course, if you're going for longevity, you're going to want to prep your nails. I will leave a video up in the eye on how to do some great no-lift nail prep. But again, peel off base coat. You can disregard everything I'm doing right now. We're just going to have a quick chat about dip powder nails. So if this is the first video you're watching on dip powder nails, thanks for being here. I'm glad you clicked on this one. I'm going to give you some product 101, some tips and tricks along the way, and we're going to mostly talk about how to get your nails to look like they were done at a salon. This is something that I've been doing for 6 years now. Almost 6 years on YouTube. I'm not a professional. I'm a DIYer just like y'all are, but it's something I've been doing for a long time. And while I am not qualified to teach anything, I figured I would just share some of the stuff that I have learned along the way with you guys so you can do your dip powder nails at home too. So I'm going to go ahead and get my peel off base coat done, let it dry for a few minutes, and then we're going to get right into application. So here are the basics that you're going to need to do dip powder nails at home. You're going to need some files, a buffer, an orange wood stick, your dip liquids, a dip powder, and I'm going to bust out a cuticle pusher a little bit later. This is the bare minimum. You can go crazy once you figure out your stuff and get whatever products you want, but that's the bare minimum. I'm going to start with my dip base coat. Now I'm going to take most of the product off of this brush. I'm only going to leave a teeny little bit at the bottom of the brush. I have extreme short nails right now. I know, massively long nail beds, but my nails are short. There's a lot of skin there hanging over the edge. So the amount of liquid you're going to use will depend on your nail length, but I'm going to start in the center of the nail. I don't want to go to the cuticle yet. That's where all the product's going to fall off the brush. So I'm going to start in the center so I don't flood my cuticles and pull that product down. Once I have that done, I can ease my way into that cuticle area, nice and slow, and then drag the product down. This is going to really help you avoid flooding in your cuticle area and your sidewalls. Get all that product off in the center of the nail. Once you have a nice even layer of your dip paste coat down, you can dip right into the powder if you want to. I prefer to pour over. I find especially for beginners, pour over is going to be an easier method for you to avoid lumps and bumps and weirdness on the nail. I'm also going to clean up the excess glue. It's basically what dip base coat is with my orange wood stick. So I'm going to go ahead and pour the powder over nice and light. You don't want to just dump it over the nail. Keep everything with a light touch, tap off excess, and then I like to do another pour over just in case there are any wet spots, and then that nail is essentially complete. I'm going to run around the cuticle area with an orange wood stick to make sure I don't have any unevenness at my cuticle line in case I may have flooded anything. Same thing around my sidewalls and in the front of my nail where there's a lot of skin where the nail is not covering. This is going to make cleanup and filing a whole lot easier for you later. And it's going to help give you that salon look with that beautiful rounded cuticle line. No product out of place. It's going to look seamless. Another thing worth mentioning when it comes to getting product on your skin is product on the skin can also lead to premature lifting of product. If you are doing a manicure for longevity, if you want to keep a manicure on for a week or so, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever the case may be, you're going to want to avoid getting product on your skin so you don't have any lifting when you don't want any lifting, because one, that can cause your nails to pop off. It can also cause moisture to get underneath that dip powder and sit between the dip and your natural nail and cause greenies, aka pseudomonas, aka basically mildew on your nail. And that's not going to be pretty. It's going to gross you out a little bit. So we want to keep the lifting to the bare minimum, if any, which means we don't want any product touching skin. And my last point about product touching skin, anything that you have repetitive exposure to on your skin can eventually lead to a product allergy. And if you find you love doing dip powder, you want to do it all the time, forever and ever and always, you're going to want to make sure that you avoid or hopefully prevent any type of allergic reaction, and keeping product off your skin is a great way to do that. While I'm moving on with the rest of the nails and the next couple of coats, which I will talk you through when we get there, let's do a little product 101 so you can better understand how these products all work together. Now, the system I'm using from Azure Beauty, the liquids, it's a 2-in-1 base and top coat and an activator. The activator essentially is what cures, hardens, solidifies the dip base coat when mixed with the dip powder. It creates a nice, hard, acrylic-like substance. Off topic, acrylic is dip powder. Dip powder is acrylic. They are essentially, with some minor differences, the same product. So you can use acrylic powder to do dip nails. But anyway, back to the liquids. So the activator is what's going to harden everything. It's going to harden your base coat when you apply your dip. It will also harden your top coat when you top coat later. Do you have to use dip top coat? Nope, you definitely don't have to, but that's a conversation we'll have when we get to top coat a little bit later. Did you see that ant? I don't think that little guy's paying rent, so I'm going to have to evict it. Anyways, back to nails. I hope this is giving you a good idea of how long it takes me to do this. Now, mind you, again, I've been doing this for 6 or 7 years now. It will take longer as you are learning to do this. I get so many questions / comments about how long this can take for a beginner, and everyone's going to be different. You're going to work at your own speed. I like to do one hand at a time. I would even go so far as to say do one hand a day, because this can cause fatigue, especially in your hands, your eyes, depending on how sensitive you are to dip liquids. You may find that your eyes get watery or you get a little bit congested. All depends on the person. But do one hand one day, do another hand another day. Find your pockets of time to do all these shenanigans and work at your own pace. This is all real-time video. This one hand for me took about 40 minutes from start to finish. I will leave a video at the end of how to remove dip nails super quickly, so you can have a nice quick turnaround for your manicures if you want to do one manicure, wear it, take it off, and do another one. You can also do dip powder fill-ins. So if you want to see that, I will leave that video up in the eye for you guys, so you can check that out. I don't particularly care for dip powder fill-ins. I'd rather soak off and do a fresh set, but that's just me. Everyone's different, and you don't have to do anything I'm telling you to do, by the way. There is no law when it comes to dip powder nails. You find what works for you, and that's what you do. This may work for a lot of people. It might not. It's all up to you, your body, your chemistry, your nails, what products you choose to use. These are just things that I have found worked for me over the last few hundred years. Anyways, now that I've gotten all 5 fingers dipped, I'm just going to clean around my cuticle area for that last nail. Then I'm going to very thoroughly dust off any excess dip powder. This is super important because if you do not remove the excess powder and you go right in with your second coat, 2 things are going to happen. You're likely going to contaminate your base brush with all that excess powder, but also your nails are going to be super thick and chunky. So you want to make sure you're getting off all of that excess powder before you go in for coat number 2. Coat number 2 is going to be basically the same exact thing. Same exact process. The only difference I choose to make for my second coat is I will use a little bit more liquid, because your dip powder is porous and some of that base coat will absorb into your dip powder. So you might need a little bit more for your second or subsequent coats. That's the only difference I'm going to make. Everything else will be exactly the same. I'm also going to do a third coat here in a little bit. You don't have to do a third coat. Again, all this will depend on your natural nails. If you want to do 2 coats of color and then throw a coat of clear on top of that, you totally can. I recommend at least 3 dips though, again, depending on your nail length, because you want to have enough strength to prevent cracks or chips or breakage of your nails or of your dip powder overlay. So 3 is like my magic number. I'm going to do 3 coats of color, or you can do 2 coats color, 1 coat clear, whatever floats y'all's boat. But 3 for me is the magic number. If you have a little bit of a longer nail and you want to learn how to build an apex on that for extra strength, I will leave that video up in the eye. Feel free to check that one out. But I'm going to let you all watch the second coat. All real time. You can vibe, you can hang out, put the music on, and then I'll come back for the third coat. So here's what we're looking like with 2 coats. I'm going to do one more, but while we're doing that, let's talk about the burning question everyone is asking. Does this damage your nails? No, this does not damage your nails. I know a lot of people that have nail damage are quick to blame the product. However, that product is not what damages the nails. What can damage your nails through these processes is overfiling during prep, overfiling during removal, and long time exposure to acetone, which can dehydrate the nails, which can make them brittle, aka breakable. So dip powder does not damage your nails. The prep and the removal, however, can cause nail damage if not done appropriately. Again, I will leave the prep video up in the eye. I'll leave the removal video in the outro of the video, so you can check those videos out if you want to learn how to do prep and removal safely. I got you on that as well. If at some point during this video you feel like you have questions that maybe I didn't touch on, feel free to leave them down in the comments section. You can also reach out to me privately if you'd like. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on TikTok. I also have an email. All my links or handles are down below in the description box, so feel free to reach out. I'm happy to troubleshoot if y'all are having issues, happy to talk with you or through things with you if you feel like that is something that you need. I am speeding through this 3rd coat. I figured by the end of 2 coats, you probably got what I'm doing because everything is literally the same. So here's my game plan. I'm going to finish up this coat. I'm going to dust off all of the excess, and then I'm going to activate and let everything harden for at least a few minutes. I like to give it at least 5. You're probably good with 2, but you want to make sure everything is solidified, hardened. Tap a nail brush or a toothpick or a nail file on your nail. Listen for a clicky noise. It should be completely hardened before we go in with filing and buffing. And I'm going to show you a little bit of how I do that coming up here in just a bit. So we've activated, and now we're going to go in with filing. The first thing I want to do is very gently push back my cuticles, and that'll expose a little space between the dip powder and your skin. And I'm going to get this little file right in there, round out my cuticle area, and this is what's going to help give it that salon perfect look. I'm being very gentle. This is a gentle nail file. I'm not trying to take off product. I'm just trying to make everything nice and smooth and seamless and pretty and aesthetic, if you will. I'm going to dust off the dust from filing every so often just to see how I'm doing. And I'm going to go down the sides of the nail, get everything there nice and smooth, take it around the edge of my nail, get that nice and smooth. We want it smooth is basically what I'm going for. Once I have the entire perimeter smoothed out the way I want it, I'm going to go in with a spongy buffer thingamajig. But we'll get there when we get there. I'm going to go ahead and get this smoothed out. If you find that you've gotten a little bit of dip powder on your skin, you can also take your file and get that off of your skin. It comes off super duper easily. You can pick it off if you want to. If you're a picker, pick away, my friends. But you can use the file to do that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get this nice and even and smooth. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to this stage, so it might take me a minute. But once we have that done, I'm going to grab this spongy buffer, and the only thing I want to do is go around the cuticle area and down the side walls. I'm not doing the entire nail with this file because I'm not trying to take off a whole lot of product everywhere, just in the areas where it might be a little bit bulky, which is going to be the back of the nail and by the side walls. You want your center of the nail to be the highest part of the nail and everything to kind of taper down from there. So I'm just removing the teeniest little amount of bulk in those areas. Then I can go over the entire nail with a buffing block, make sure everything is smooth and ready for top coat, and that's it. You can get up and wash your hands after you're done buffing. I'm probably just going to take some alcohol and scrub my nails down to make sure there's no dust and debris from filing. But again, get up, wash your hands, do your thing. You can stop here and take a break if you want to. But when you're ready for top coat, come back for top coat. So I got everything filed and buffed and smoothed and clean, and here is what we are looking like. Now we're going to go in. Oh, by the way, if you wanted a matte look, this is where you stop. You don't have to go any further, but if you want glossy, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to apply activator to each nail. As we talked about earlier, activator will cure your dip top coat. Your dip top will not dry right without this activator. So we're going to do one quick coat of activator on all of the nails. Let that sit for a minute. Then we're going to wipe off any excess with a dry paper towel before we go in with top coat. So after about a minute or so has passed, I'm going to take a dry paper towel and wipe off any activator residue from the nail. This is going to help prevent your top coat brush from hardening because, as mentioned, activator cures top coat and base coat. So if the brush comes in contact with activator, it is likely going to harden. And if you put the brush back in the bottle, now your whole bottle's contaminated. Nobody wants that. So wipe off that excess dry paper towel. And now we can start top coating. So here's the plan. We're going to do 1, 2, 3 swipes down the nail, wipe off the brush, back in the bottle for more product, onto the next nail. 3 quick swipes across the entire nail. We're not going for perfection on this coat. We're going for get the top coat on the nail coat. We're going to get more detailed on the second coat, but this is all you need for coat number 1. Now, the reason I'm wiping the brush off on the paper towel, in the event there is any excess activator that I missed, I don't want to contaminate my brush or the bottle. So I'm going to wipe off in between each nail to make sure I don't contaminate my liquids. Once you get to the thumbnail, we're going to let it sit and dry for a couple of seconds. The nails will tell you when they are ready for coat number 2. You're going to notice after a few seconds that the nails will start looking a little bit more mattified and not as glossy and even a little bit wrinkly. That is when your nails are telling you time to finish me up, time for coat number 2. And coat number 2 is going to be exactly the same, not exactly, mostly the same. I'll tell you the difference. We're still going to do 1, 2, and 3 swipes down the nail. But if you want to give it an extra swipe and cap your free edge, you can totally do that. I'm still going to clean my brush off in between each nail. I find capping the nails is super important on the second coat, mostly to prevent chipping and help promote longevity of your top coat. You don't want to take too much time when you're doing top coat though, because this is an air dry product. So the more swipes you do and the more time you take, the more likely you are to have your product start drying down before you're ready for it to dry down. So we do want to move relatively quickly. You don't need to rush. You don't have to go at rocket speed, but you also don't want to take an hour and a half to do your top coat or it's not going to dry right. So once we have all of the nails done with the second coat of top coat, I'm going to let this sit for a few minutes and dry down. Typically for me, with these liquids specifically, the dry down time is about 2 to 3 minutes and I'm good to go. I'd say give it 5 just to be on the safe side. And then you are literally done. You don't have to cure this. Everything is air dry. They are going to be hard like glass and shiny and beautiful and gorgeous. Before I show you the finished look though, I'm going to give you perhaps one of the best tips that I don't hear talked about super often, and that is how to take care of your liquids. Your activator is low maintenance. You want to make sure it's closed real tight because that can evaporate. So close up your activator real tight, but that's all you need to do for that. You want to make sure you're storing your liquids upright and not laying down. Store them upright in a drawer somewhere or in a spot out of the sun. Let them hang out and do their thing. But your base and your top coat, because it is essentially super glue, it's basically what it is. You're going to want to make sure your neck of your bottle is clean. So what I like to do is take a little piece of a paper towel with a little bit of alcohol or acetone on it. I'm going to take the brush out of the bottle. Okay, so when you take the brush out of the bottle, do not put it upside down on your nail desk because the glue will go in there and then you're going to glue your bottle shut and it's not going to be good. So lay it sideways, take your paper towel, and just clean around the top and the neck of the bottle. Get inside that hole a little bit, get any excess glue out of there, and that's going to help you from gluing your bottle shut. If you've ever done that, if you know, you know. It's damn near impossible to get that unstuck. You're going to ruin a bottle. Take the extra time while your nail is drying and clean up a little bit just to make your life easier the next time. So these have now sat and dried for a few minutes and they are completely hardened, completely dried down. They are looking fabulous. So we're going to end everything with some oil. This, I'm not going to sit here and say it's a necessary step, but you do put your skin and your nails through a little bit of trauma when you're doing your nails like this. Between filing and alcohol and dehydrating and acetone if you're soaking off. So you want to make sure you're replenishing and hydrating and getting all those nutrients back into your skin and nails. I like to do that with an oil, cuticle oil, body oil, whatever kind of oil you like. Jojoba is great. That's, I think, the closest to our natural pH. Hydrate your skin and nails. It's going to make your cuticles look real nice. And that is it. You've just done your own dip nails, or you've learned how to do them. Come back and do them again with me. I hope this video was helpful. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Oh, by the way, this oil is great for tattoos. If you're a tatted up chickadee or dude like I am, I highly recommend the oil for tattoos. Anyways, thank you for spending some of your day with me today. I hope the rest of your day is as beautiful as you are, and I will catch you in the next one. Love you, bye.